Hey y'all, it's Mr. P, and we're going to change gears a little bit. We're still in Unit 1, talking about basic geometry, but today we're going to talk about angles. So to start, we'll have a little vocabulary, and we'll talk about exactly what an angle is. And an angle is two rays that share a common vertex. So in this figure, we have an angle, and it's formed by ray BA. It's also formed by ray BC. And you can see that they have point B in common. Okay, that point is called a vertex, and the rays are called sides. So ray BA and ray BC are the two rays that form the angle. They're considered the sides. So we have one side, and we have another side. And the vertex B, the point they have in common, is where they meet, and we call it a vertex, of course. If we have multiple vertexes, they're actually called vertices, so not vertexes. As in the other videos, make sure you pause if you are having trouble copying the vocabulary down from going too fast. So again, we have an angle, the vertex, the place where the two sides meet, and the sides are the rays that form the angle. Again, BA and BC. There are four different ways we can name an angle. One using the vertex, another using 3 points, including the vertex, and we can go the opposite way. And we can also, if we have a label for an angle, just like when we had a label for a plane or a label for a line, we can name the angle using that label. So let's start first here. B is our vertex still. That's our angle symbol, so this reads angle. We can call this angle B. We can name it by its vertex. We can also name it using 3 points that are on the angle. When we do that, we have to make sure that B is in the middle. The vertex is in the middle, so I can name this angle A, B, C. Notice that the vertex is in the middle. We can go the other way, and we can name it angle CBA. Again, B is the vertex, B is in the middle. So whenever you see the name of an angle, you should know which point is the vertex, and the vertex would be the point whose label is the letter in the middle. Okay, and we can see here that this angle is labeled inside with a 1, so we can call this angle 1 if we want to. And if there's no label, of course, then we need to use the vertex or 3 points on the angle. So pause the video now and name each of the two angles 3 different ways. So if we're going to name this angle over here, and one way that we can show what angle we're talking about is by making a curve with an arrow on the end. I know I'm talking about this angle formed by ray PL and ray PN. I can name this angle LPN. I can also name it angle NPL. And it's labeled with a 1, so we can call it angle 1. If we want to talk about this angle here, we can name it angle NPM, angle MPN, or we can use the label here and we can call it angle 2. So any of these 3 in red would be appropriate for naming this angle over here, and any of these 3 in purple would be appropriate for naming this angle over here. We have some more vocabulary. I think this probably is familiar to you. Acute angles, obtuse angles, right angles, and straight angles. An acute angle is an angle that is larger than 0 but smaller than 90. So between 0 and 90. An obtuse angle is an angle that is larger than 90 and smaller than 180 between those two values. A right angle, I think everybody knows, is an angle that's 90 degrees. And a straight angle looks like a line, and it is an angle that is 180 degrees. Here I have a picture of some angles and a protractor behind it. So we're going to actually measure some angles because we need to know that angles are measured as pieces of a circle. So that we're going to measure them and we're going to label them with degrees. So if I want to, for instance, figure out how big angle DFE is, so we're talking about this angle, and we want to know how big it is, we can look using our protractor. Start here, this is 0 degrees, and we can count all the way until we get to this ray. So we're starting at ray FE, we're counting all the way to ray FD, and that will tell us what our angle measure is. It's the degree distance from one ray to the other. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. So angle DFE has a measure of 40 degrees. You can do the same thing over here for AFB. We're going to measure how long or how many degrees are between ray FA and ray FB, and that will give us the measure of BFA or AFB, whichever you'd like to call it. And you can see our protractor starts at 0 over this way too, or we can count backwards from 180, 0 to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So angle BFA measures 50 degrees. It's important to note that when I'm naming these angles in this situation, because I have many angles that share the same common vertex F, I can't just name it angle F, because I wouldn't be sure which angle I was talking about. So it's important to use 3 letters. Remember that our vertex is in the middle of the name, so they all share the same vertex. And we know exactly which angle we're talking about by using the other 2 letters. So again, DFE in purple and BFA in red. So pause the video, use the picture here to the right, and I want you to find the angle measures of angle BFD, and I think we just did that. Oh, no we didn't. Angle CFD and angle AFE. So I was wrong. We didn't find BFD. We found BFA. So we can find BFD. It's the distance between ray FB and ray FD. So we can start here. And even though we're not starting at 0, we can just count the number of degrees. So we're going 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So angle BFD is actually a right angle. Angle CFD is the distance from ray FC to FD. And we can count again. Now we're starting in the middle of 70 and 80. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65 degrees. So that makes angle CFD an acute angle. And finally we can find AFE. That's the distance between ray FA and ray FE, and I think we probably can see right away that that is a straight angle. If we go all the way around, we'll measure 180 degrees. So that is a straight angle. It makes a straight line. And you might even notice that ray FA and ray FE are opposite rays because they share the same vertex. They go in opposite directions and they make a straight line. So I have 4 questions for you to answer here on the U-Try. 1 through 4 are just the 4 different names for this angle shown here. And in number 5, I'm going to tell you that the angle measures 115 degrees, and I want you to classify it by its size. So it's either acute, it's obtuse, it's right, or it is straight. So when you're entering your answers in 1 through 4, it doesn't matter which answer you put for number 1, which answer you put for 2, 3, or 4. I'm just going to look to make sure that you've used all 4 names and they're all appropriate names for this angle. Again, there's the link. You can also click the link in the description section of this video. That's probably the best way to go about it. Just click that link below this video, scroll down, click the link down there, and it'll open up a new tab, and you should be able to submit your answers.